Firstly, my congratulations to you, Speaker, on your appointment. Your story is an inspirational one. It is with enormous pride that I stand before you today as the new member for Bass. Bass is a large and diverse electorate that includes rapidly expanding residential areas, fertile and productive farmland, beautiful beaches and coastal towns. The people of Bass are honest and hard-working. They call a spade a spade. They expect their fair share of the resources and infrastructure provided by state government. That is why they place high demands on their elected officials, and I feel honoured that they have chosen me to represent them in Parliament. It will require dedication, hard work and commitment. Thankfully, these are qualities that I inherited from my father. My father, Ray, raised our family of 8 children, leaving home at 4 a.m. every day to head to the news agency in Pakenham. He would return home at 6:30 p.m. Whilst it was difficult not having both parents at home, it presented some wonderful opportunities for my 6 brothers and 1 sister to develop our independence. Working within the constraints of a morning and afternoon paper round, we became streetwise and independent. Characteristics we carry to this day. But above all else, it made me resilient and determined. It was a close-knit and caring Pakenham community that helped raise the Paynter children, and I thank them for this. Although life hasn't always been kind to Dad, as he so painfully reminds us on a daily basis, his commitment and love to family has never wavered. They say you make your own luck in life, and in many ways that is true. But you cannot make all of it, all of the time. Life is a combination of hard work and good luck. I've learnt this in many ways. I believe role models and mentors play an important role in a person's life. I have been extremely fortunate to have some high calibre people that I have called upon and observed on many, many occasions. I thank Mr Graham Gathercole, Graham Josh Kendall, Tony Fitzgerald and my brother Michael for guiding me along the way and providing me with the strength, advice and wisdom to get me to where I am today. I will call on their influence every day in fulfilling my role as a Member of Parliament. Life is about opportunities. Firstly, recognising an opportunity and then taking it. Nothing worth anything is given to you on a platter. That's what makes me a Liberal. You make your own way in life and live and die by these decisions. As Liberals, we seek opportunities, freedom, safety and security. My foundation stones are family and friends. My beautiful wife Liz and 3 wonderful daughters, Chloe, Abby and Libby, have provided me with support, love and friendship throughout my life, and I thank them for this. My friends likewise, best represented by the Breakfast Club, ably led by Michael Carroll and past President Peter Carroll. I've been with these boys all my life and shared many great times. They know me all too well and will pull me into line if I ever get ahead of myself. And now to Victoria, the greatest state in Australia, and the electorate of Bass that I now represent. My predecessor, Ken Smith, filled the role for 12 years with honour and distinction. I pay tribute to Ken, who served the people of Victoria as a Member of Parliament for 26 years. What other place can you walk the magnificent granite cliffs of Cape Woolamai in the morning, grab a coffee at Porter's in San Remo, then head to the hallowed turf of the MCG. With a Richmond theme song echoing around the ground, my girls and I take our seats alongside the equally passionate Desmond family to watch our mighty Tigers break through the banner. To use an Australian vernacular, I wouldn't be dead for quids. Life is good. I will take up the fight for the issues that really mean something to Bass constituents. Better public education, better public hospitals, better roads and public transport, a safe, secure, protected community, and building the key infrastructure projects to support our growing state. We must provide an environment that allows business owners to get on with what they do best: run a business. I've been a chartered accountant for over 25 years. I've owned businesses and have worked closely with small business owners most of my life. Without exception, these owners want less government regulation, fairer work cover in industrial relation laws, and a strong state economy. They deserve to be rewarded with the fruits of their labour, which cannot be counted by the number of hours in a day. Owning and running a business places an enormous strain on both their lives and that of their families. This includes our farmers, who work tirelessly on the land to provide us all with the basic necessities of life. When small business prospers, everybody wins. I challenge this government to deliver some key projects for the people of Bass. The Wonthaggi Education Precinct would not only deliver state-of-the-art facilities, but would lift the dreams and aspirations of all people living and seeking education in the area. Developing the Wonthaggi Hospital to sub-regional status to deliver the range of services and health care so desperately needed in this area. Building an integrated primary care centre at Phillip Island. The island is Victoria's #1 destination for overseas visitors and caters not only for its residents, but the influx of visitors to the island throughout the entire year and peaks during holiday season and major events. Completion of the upgrade to both Pakenham and Kirirup secondary colleges. Rebuilding the Lang Lang jetty so that families and their children can throw a line into Western Port Bay. And whilst on the subject of election promises, I urge the government to increase their promise to remove railway crossings from 50 to 52 by adding both Main Street and McGregor Roads, Pakenham, to the list. A strong, prosperous state economy should provide a quality education system and meaningful employment opportunities. State governments should stick to getting the fundamentals right, in addition to lending support to those genuinely in need. I was reminded of that during my campaign when I was told by a wise old branch member and friend of mine, Mr. Graham Maiden, that if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. Words that would drive me for the rest of my days. I therefore want to pay tribute to two local organisations that helped shape my social conscience and made me realise that I can really make a difference. Outlook is a social enterprise based in Pakenham. It is led by an astute and committed board of management, Tony Fitzgerald as CEO, Anne McCormick as Deputy CEO, and a wonderful and equally committed senior management team. They work tirelessly to improve the lives of people with disabilities and those with disadvantaged backgrounds. I am the youngest live governor of Outlook, and I have seen firsthand their work in transitioning participants into the community. The empowerment of the individual has had outstanding results. The participant is treated with respect and has been given the dignity to take on the risks associated with performing mundane daily tasks, something that we take for granted. I'd loudly applaud the introduction of the NDIS and the positive impact it will have on the lives of recipients, their carers and their families. Not all of these people have received their share of luck in life. Secondly, Windermere. Their work extends throughout the electorate of Bass. Windermere's CEO, Dr Lynette Boy, and her team deal with our community's most confronting issues on a daily basis. Domestic violence, and more specifically, men's violence against women, is a serious issue that all men must take responsibility for and make a stand. Talk to your sons, work colleagues, your mates at the pub about the way they refer to and behave around women. Why should my daughters grow up in a world where they don't feel safe walking through a park? catching a taxi, or jogging around the block just because they are women. I will continue my strong and public campaign to stop men's violence against women, both in my role as a Member of Parliament and by supporting White Ribbon as trustee for the Kylie Blackwood Foundation. Our government must take an active role in combating our modern-day scourge, the drug ice. We must fund programs for those already caught in its evil web and their loving families, many who have been torn apart whilst trying to provide support. I have seen this firsthand. We must also fund positive programs that talk openly about youth suicide. Our young need to see that they have a bright future and that life is fun. Quite simply, suicide should never be seen as an option. And I applaud the work of Beyond Blue, and in particular, our former Premier, Mr Jeff Kennett, as they continue to serve those in the community suffering depression and anxiety and who are at risk of suicide. We must talk openly and publicly about these issues and remove any stigma that may be attached to this illness. Too many people are suffering in silence. It is organisations like Outlook, Windermere, White Ribbon and Beyond Blue, along with our many volunteer groups such as the CFA, SES, Surf Lifesaving Clubs, Rotary and Lion Clubs, that build strong, safe and vibrant communities. Bass and the Liberal Party have put their faith in me, but I'm part of a team. I thank the Pakenham branch of the Liberal Party, and in particular Mark Burridge and Helen Reid and my friend Anne Selby, along with Neville Goodwin, who put an enormous effort into me becoming the member for Bass. I also thank the tireless work of the many volunteers, including the Lang Lang, Cows and Wonthaggi branch of the Liberal Party, along with the Bass SEC. In addition, I thank my parliamentary colleagues, Ed O'Donoghue and Brad Batten, along with the federal member for Macmillan, Mr Russell Broadbent, for their support and guidance. I have faced many challenges in my life, and this is one more. While it is important to acknowledge where you have come from, life is about today and tomorrow. A door has been opened, and I'm ready to walk through it. I will be happy to be judged on what I do starting today as a member for Bass. In closing, there is one person that couldn't be here today that I would like to acknowledge. My grandmother, Alice Paynter. My fondest childhood memories were forged under the peppercorn trees in the backyard of a small weatherboard home in Inglewood, country Victoria. Perhaps the strongest yet most loving woman I have ever known. We would spend hours in the kitchen around the wood-fired stove as she would recount tales of my great-uncles who headed off to war and sacrificed their lives to fight for the freedoms we now enjoy. I can still picture her sitting at the kitchen table, tapping her hand whilst drinking a bottle of Melbourne Bitter, just like it was yesterday. She loved me like no other. It was unconditional, the kind of love only a grandmother could have for a grandson. A part of her has been with me every step of this journey. I hope I've made you proud, Nan.
Order.